do onSaveInstanceState and RestoreInstanceState work? When and why should you use them? Hey developers! Today we'll dive into onSaveInstanceState and on RestoreInstanceState. There's often confusion about saving data during configuration changes. Many developers don't realize that when the screen rotates, all data resets. Why does this happen? How can we properly save and restore the state to prevent data loss? In this video, I'll explain in simple terms. Why does Android destroy the activity on screen rotation? How and where is data stored? How to properly restore it? What is the bundle and how does it help? Let's break it down. When a user rotates the screen, Android destroys the current activity and creates a new one. This might seem strange, but there is a reason for it. When screen orientation changes, the UI layout may need to be adjusted. Resources might change, different layouts for portrait and landscape modes. UI elements might need resizing. To adapt the app correctly, Android recreates the activity from scratch. But here's the problem. All variables stored in the activity disappear. For example, if a user increases the counter after screen rotation, it resets back to 0. To prevent this, we need to save data before the activity is destroyed and restore it after recreation. Before Android destroys an activity, it calls onSaveInstanceState. This is your only chance to save temporary data that should persist after the activity restarts. This method provides a special object called bundle. Think of it as a storage box where you can save values. Imagine writing down a shopping list before someone closes your notebook. You store it in bundle and Android keep it safe. After the activity is recreated, these saved values will be available again. But how do we retrieve them? After the system recreates the activity, we need to restore the saved data. There are two ways to do this. First, directly inside onCreate, checking if saved data exists. Second, using onRestoreInstanceState, which is called right after onCreate, when saved data is available. This method retrieves data from the bundle and restores it to variables. This ensures that if a user enters text, increases a counter, or selects a specific tab, everything stays the same after the configuration change. Now, an important point. Not everything can be stored on onSaveInstanceState. What can be saved? First, simple values like numbers, strings, and booleans. Second, serializable and parsable objects. Third, UI states such as text entered into input field. What cannot be saved? Large objects such as images, large lists, or files. Long-term data like user settings or database records. Where to store large data? View model keeps data even after screen rotation. Shared preferences or room if data should persist after the app is closed. Here are some best practices for saving and restoring state properly. If the data is temporary and should only last while the activity is open, such as counter or text input, use onSaveInstanceState. If the data needs to persist after configuration changes, but not after the app closes, use ViewModel. If the data should be saved even after closing the app, store it in shared preferences or in database like Room. Now you know how to properly save and restore data when the screen rotates. Key takeaways. Android destroy activity on screen rotation. This is normal behavior. onSaveInstanceState saves data into a bundle before the activity is destroyed. On RestoreInstanceState, restore the saved data after the activity is recreated. Large objects should not be stored in onSaveInstanceState. Use ViewModel or a database instead. This is all for me. Bye!